This is CBC Winnipeg News.
Good evening. Thanks for joining us. He was attacked with a sword in school. Now the 15-year-old victim recounts the terrifying moments where he thought he was going to die. CBC's Chelsea Kemp spoke with the teen about what happened inside a Brandon school hallway.
His hands wrapped in bandages and a cast, Chinozo Onuke tells his new iPad what chest moves to make.
83.
7 of his fingers were almost severed after fighting off another student wielding a sword in the hallways of Brandon's Neelan High School. The 15-year-old says his attacker was dressed in all black with a long trench coat and a beaked mask.
Approached him because I thought the food was a little weird, honestly. Like, I was wondering, why would someone come dressed like a witch doctor?
Anuke says at first he thought it was a costume, until the teen pulled out a jagged sword and lunged at him, striking him in the stomach, chest, and thigh.
Like the last one, he was trying to kill me with the last one. Like, he was going straight here. I kind of grab it with both hands like that, and he kind of tries to pull it away. I don't release it after he pulls it for the first time. So I pulls it, I kind of shift forward a little bit, then I push it away, and I run away. I run straight to the office, because I'm like, if I don't get to the office right now, I'm cooked.
Anuke was rushed to a Winnipeg hospital after the attack, where he spent 10 hours in surgery. Brandon police say officers arrived at the school minutes after being called, and the school went into lockdown. A 16-year-old suspect was taken into custody. Anuke says his assault has traumatized his friends and fellow students.
One of my friends described it as seeing me. They thought I looked dead when I came out on the stretcher. They said my eyes was closed, covered in blood and all that. In the moment, I thought I was about to die, so I was like, I don't know.
Helen Onuke says she believes the attack on her son was racially motivated. Police say the motive is unclear right now and still under investigation. The mother says she's trying not to be angry, but wants justice for her son and for other kids to feel safe.
No parents should have to go through that. Nobody should have to go through that. But so I'm hoping that the authority will do the right thing. People need to do the right thing. So I think that the fight is not just for us, it should be for the school, it should be for the city.
Anuke returned to school on Friday and says his rotator recovery will take time as he waits 6 weeks for his hand bandages to come off.
I can barely still comprehend that it even happened. I sometimes I feel like, wait, is this a dream? And I look at my hands and be like, nah, this is not a dream.
The 16-year-old suspect is facing several charges, including attempted murder, possessing a weapon, uttering threats, and wearing a disguise. He's due in court on Tuesday. Chelsea Kemp, CBC News, Brandon.
4 sex abuse charges against a Manitoba First Nation chief have been stayed. It comes after the little girl at the center of the allegations admitted in court she lied about being sexually assaulted. Christopher Travers has maintained his innocence since CBC News learned of the charges. CBC's Rosanna Hempel has the latest.
On the last day of the trial, the child who had accused Christopher Travers of forcing her into a bathroom, taking an explicit photo of her and touching her inappropriately, admitted she lied about what happened. Her admission came under cross-examination from his defense lawyer and prompted the Crown to stay the charges on Friday.
In 2024, Travers was charged with sexual assault, sexual interference, as well as making and possessing child pornography. They were connected to alleged incidents in December 2023, when he was chief of Lake St. Martin First Nation. The second day of his trial was adjourned in April, after he was attacked before entering the courthouse. On Friday, defense lawyer Candace Olson cross-examined the now 10-year-old girl. Court heard she blamed Travers for taking the photo because she was worried about getting in trouble after her mother had already told her not to take pictures of her private parts. When you were telling us that Christopher took the picture and then deleted it, that was just wrong? Olson asked. Yes, I just got scared, the child answered. Moments later, when you told us about Christopher taking you into the bathroom and taking this photo and then deleting it, that didn't happen either, did it? Olson asked, to which the child replied, no.
Travers could not be reached on Monday. He has maintained his innocence. Last year, Travers was removed from the board of the Interlake Reserves Tribal Council. Chief Cornell McLean is chair of the council.
They're stayed, but they're not dismissed, right? The Crown has 1 year to either bring them back or dismiss his charges against him. So with that being said, we're going to follow the protocols here at IRTC and Anishinaabe CFS, and he's still not going to be reinstated to our boards.
CBC News did not hear back from Lake St. Martin's interim chief, Brad Beardy, but McLean says the First Nation has no intention of bringing Travers back as chief. Some of the court conditions against Travers were lifted on Friday. He can now be around children in public places or through work. Rosanna Hempel, CBC News, Winnipeg.
Joy and relief tonight among some wildfire evacuees. People from more than a dozen Manitoba communities have returned home or will be going home this week, including roughly 1,800 who went back Saturday. Gavin Axelrod caught up with people on their way home to Pimicikamak Cree Nation.
Packing up for the trip home to Pimicikamak Cree Nation. For some, the load was small, others with as much as they could carry. All of these people share the joy of going home.
Tears of joy. Yesterday, me and my kids we had tears of joy, excited to go home. We found out that we were going to go home, and we were just excited.
Thousands were forced out of the northern Manitoba community in late May because of wildfire near the First Nation. David Monias is the chief of Pimicikamak Cree Nation.
Just really elated in terms of, I'm very happy to see that. And so you could see the people that came there right away, they came and shook hands and happy hugs and stuff like that. So
there are 2 wildfires near Pimicikamak. One is more than 2,000 hectares and being held. Another south of the First Nation is over 64,000 hectares in size and considered out of control.
Right now it's not out yet. I mean, we're not out of the woods, but it's safe and I think we can manage it.
The province says there are 18 wildfires still burning. 7 are out of control.
These are very large fires and they are not extinguished. They are not out and won't be for some time.
Officials say 22,000 evacuees registered with the Red Cross. About 40 people are in congregate shelter space in Winnipeg, about 150 in Thompson.
Our focus is on returning people home when there's a higher level of confidence that they won't have to leave again soon. But I think we're all mindful of the dynamic nature of this peril of the wildfire itself.
Chief Monias says Pimicikamak's return home plan will happen over several days. A few thousand were expected to head home Monday. The chief says people with breathing issues and medical concerns will likely be the last to return.
We're trying to make it, as quick as possible, but safely.
Happy to go home today. I can't wait to be home at Cross Lake.
And even though it's a long way home, it's a trip McKay and thousands of others are more than happy to make. Gavin Axelrod, CBC News, Winnipeg.
Meantime, the mayor of Flin Flon says people are anxious to get back home, but he's urging patience. The city of 5,000 was evacuated due to wildfire on May 27th. Now, while some communities are heading home, George Fontaine says that's not the case for his city yet because fire crews are still dousing hotspots. He adds it might be a week before they can start the work to let people back in.
That's not saying you're going back in a week. That's not what I'm saying. I said, but that would be your bare minimum after the requirements of people setting things up. Like we don't have pharmacies. We don't have any medical care at all there. The police is stretched so thin doing what they're doing, we wouldn't have any of that either.
Well, people there are waiting for news. This past weekend, a street hockey game for families staying in Winnipeg was organized by former Flin Flon Bombers captain Lucas Fry. He's now a student at the University of Manitoba and wanted to support the community that he says cheered him on for years.
Going through a really tough time right now where a lot of them are isolated. A lot of them don't necessarily have homes to stay in right now. So this is just something that I wanted to put on where we could have a little bit of normalcy going on. Everybody could come together for a good day and have some fun.
The wildfire burning near Flin Flon is more than 370,000 hectares in size. It's the largest fire currently burning in Manitoba and remains out of control. Time now for a check on our weather forecast. Let's check in with weather specialist Darius Madavi. Darius.
Thanks, Brittany. And we've had a bit of an active day across parts of Manitoba, especially in the south, where we've seen some thunderstorms rolling through. Now, some of that has been dry lightning, but also some of it has come with precipitation. So hopefully no new fire starts as a result, but we are keeping a close eye on that situation, as I'm sure is the Wildfire Service. Now, if we roll over to our next map here, you can see that precipitation that we have coming to parts of the province over the next few days, especially in the more southern parts of Manitoba. Again, it's very scattered. It's not going to be very much. In the central parts, a little bit more precipitation, but for most areas, probably not going to make too much of a difference when it comes to the drought situation, which we're going to talk about a little bit more later in the show. But just to give an overview, this is where much of Manitoba is sitting, at the very least abnormally dry, and most areas in some sort of drought situation. Now, our highs for today have been pretty close to seasonal for most areas. We'll take a closer look at the forecast temperatures when I talk to you next.
Thanks, Darius. Well, she has a love for coding and robotics. Now, this high school student's passion is helping her pay for school as she heads off to university. More on that straight ahead. From potholes to overgrown trees and heaving sidewalks, it may seem like the to-do list for city repair crews is ever growing. Now the city has created special teams dedicated to fixing all the little things in one community at a time. CBC's Cameron McLean reports.
That annoying pothole in the back lane, this crew is coming to fix it. The City of Winnipeg officially launched its Neighbourhood Action Team today. It fulfills an election pledge from Mayor Scott Gillingham to create teams of workers capable of tackling a broad range of tasks.
They are teams that are cross-trained to take care of multiple issues at once, all in one visit.
Rather than sending a crew to do one job, like fill a pothole or trim a tree, the action teams will spend their time in one area, taking care of as many service requests as they can. Colin Campbell worked as a city arborist for 15 years before joining the team.
Learned how to work asphalt and do all kinds of other city jobs that weren't in my scope previously. I'm fixing signs and things of that nature. It's been a good learning experience.
3 teams of 6 people will spend about 4 weeks in one area. 311 requests, biz groups, and area councillors, along with input from neighbours themselves, will determine what gets done. Public Works Chair Janice Lukes admits it will be a challenge for the teams to get everything done.
4 weeks will never solve all of this, but we can target and hone in and focus on specific areas.
Over this past winter, the team spent time clearing snow around transit stops. The program is expected to cost about $2.7 million a year. Tyrone Dees lives in the St. John's neighborhood.
I think that's a great idea because at least everything's getting done at once rather than, something gets done here and there. It never seems like it's ever finished. And I think that's a great idea.
Between now and October, the neighborhood action teams plan to rotate through every ward in the city, starting with places like here in the Minarski ward. By the end of the season, they hope their to-do list is a little bit shorter. Cameron McLean, CBC News, Winnipeg.
Former PC leadership candidate Wally Dowdrich has lost an appeal to operate polar bear viewing vehicles near Churchill this fall. In February, the province told Dowdrich his license to operate 2 tundra vehicles wouldn't be renewed. The province says it was due to declining bear populations along Hudson Bay. Dowdrich took legal action seeking an injunction. In April, a judge declined to compel the province to issue that license. Manitoba's appeal court upheld that decision today. Hundreds of thousands of high school students will walk across the stage at graduation this year, but only one in Manitoba will be walking away with a highly competitive and prestigious national scholarship. It will not only pave her path forwards, but pay for it. CBC's Zubina Ahmed reports.
Developing computer coding is the passion of this grade 12 student from Miles McDonald Collegiate. And it helped Cherry Wong win a $120,000 scholarship to study at the University of Waterloo from this fall semester. She is one of only 100 students selected from over 350,000 Canadian high school students to win the Schoolic Leader Scholarship.
I feel really excited and really happy about it because it is something that's going to help me and my family out tremendously, and it's an incredible award.
As an immigrant, Wong came to Canada from China without speaking any English. Winnipeg has been her home ever since.
I had an interest in hands-on creation since I was a little kid. At first, I didn't really know what to do for the future, but it was until grade 10 where I took my very first computer science class that I realized, this is something that I want to pursue.
Always full of ideas, Wong leads her school's robotics, hackathon and coding clubs. She wants to develop new tech solutions.
I'm kind of doing research on possibly making a productivity app that's AI powered, and it can integrate different schedules into the Select app, and basically it can use AI to basically designate time blocks so that students have times slotted so that they can do different work.
As a volunteer, Wong has also supported vulnerable youth in Winnipeg, led community safety patrols, and created assistive tech for children with disabilities.
Currently, my goal is to work at Google and possibly pursue a master's degree at MIT.
There seems to be no limit to her ambitions. Zubina Ahmed, CBC News, Winnipeg.
People walking the quiet streets in Westwood are being warned about an aggressive deer in the area. Some say they've been confronted by a doe that just won't back down and even follows them as they try to get away. Marlo Hebert was out walking his dog one morning last week when they had a run-in with the deer. It came within about 5 feet of them, but he says he became concerned when the deer started to aggressively stomp its hooves.
At first, it seems like it's really kind of this magical moment, you know, this really interesting animal. We're making a connection here, and then the next thing, it's getting aggressive. It's like, okay, this script is going off. I didn't see that coming.
It turns out the deer has a newborn fawn it's been protecting. The province has posted warning signs in the area, advising people to keep their distance. Riley is taking a much-needed break for the next few days, so let's check in with weather specialist Darius Madavi. Darius.
Thanks, Brittany. And we left off on this map of our highs that we've seen already today. If we take a look at the next few days, you'll notice temperatures not expected to change all that much for most areas. In the north, we do see them fall quite considerably as we get into tomorrow, but then they start to rebound very fast as we get into the end of this week. So a bit of fluctuation happening up there. In the south, though, very consistent. And as promised, I'm going to talk a little bit more about the drought situation because you can see a few spots, especially in western Manitoba, under that extreme drought rating. This is really one of the only parts in the country that has that rating. Now, if we change our view here, you can see, again, not very much precipitation coming over the next few days. In the south, some places like Brandon, Macy, a fair amount of precipitation coming mostly as downpours, but that isn't happening until Thursday morning. And so the exact location of where that downpour may happen is likely to change as we get closer to it. Because as you can see, most areas, we're talking 10 to 15 millimeters at most. Brandon, in this model, 36 millimeters. That location is likely to shift somewhat because that is quite a ways away. Now, again, drought rating. Why is this? What's really brought us to this point where we have such high fire danger across the province, where we have these prolonged drought conditions? Really, it's been a very sustained lack of precipitation for much of the province. Other than here, the southwestern corner, for the most part, we're seeing less than 50% of the normal precipitation, maybe a little bit more than that for most areas. This is from May 1st to June 8th. We can also see more recent data instead of looking at provincial data from the national data. And you can see here, most areas again, under 40% of the normal amount of precipitation over the last 30 days. And so unless we see some very significant precipitation soon, I'd expect next month when the next drought update comes to see, if anything, a very similar picture, if not a worse one with more areas under those drought conditions. Now, given that, again, keeping a close eye on the fire situation throughout the province, we've got quite a bit of wind coming, especially in the north, although the gusts remain pretty calm down in southern Manitoba, so keeping an eye on that as well. And here you can see how that's influencing the smoke situation. This is going to be continue to be a big story for the prairies for the foreseeable future as those big fires continue to burn. Large areas experiencing high amounts of smoke and or haze. Now, this graphic in particular is showing you both smoke, so at surface level, and that haze up at the higher levels. So keep that in mind. But with that being said, firesmoke.ca, a great resource to see when the best time is to get outside.
Thanks, Darius. We need to take a very quick break. There's much more to come straight ahead. Stay with us. Prime Minister Mark Carney is now hosting the G7 summit in Kananaskis, Alberta. Carney and U.S. President Donald Trump met ahead of the wider summit with other world leaders. Trump says he believes the two can reach a trade deal within weeks. Here was his response when asked why they had not already reached an agreement.
I think we have different concepts. I have a tariff concept, and Mark has a different concept, which is something that some people like. But we're going to see if we can get to the bottom of it today. I'm a tariff person. I've always been a tariff. It's simple, it's easy, it's precise, and it just goes very quickly. And I think Mark has a more complex idea, but also very good.
Tariffs are expected to be a hot topic at the summit because of Trump's global trade war with many U.S. allies. Leaders are also expected to discuss the latest conflict between Israel and Iran and the war in Ukraine. 5 Canadian premiers are in Boston for meetings with some U.S. governors from the northeastern states. They're discussing the impact of those tariffs and looking at how to improve economic and trade relations. Megan Fitzpatrick reports.
The Canadian flag was on display outside the Massachusetts state legislature today, while inside, Canadian premiers and U.S. governors sat down to talk about the trade war raging between their countries. People are coming from all. The premiers of Ontario, Nova Scotia, New Brunswick, Newfoundland and Labrador, and Prince Edward Island, along with Quebec's economic minister, came to Boston at the invitation of Massachusetts Governor Maura Healey and the other East Coast governors. The point? To discuss the impact of the tariffs on their respective jurisdictions and to talk about how they can strengthen trade ties despite the trade war. The governors acknowledged the frayed relationship between the two countries right now, and they said they understand why some Canadians are choosing to avoid travel to the U.S.
We want them to come back to our country, but we understand the anger that they feel. Our relationship suffers, and it shouldn't. And we do respect Canadians and the country, the sovereign country of Canada.
The governors of Maine, New York, Massachusetts, Rhode Island, and Vermont said the drop in tourism is having a serious impact on their economies. They want to get the message across to Canadians that they don't share the 51st state rhetoric from President Donald Trump, and they hope to see Canadians in their states soon. New Brunswick's premier had a message for Americans.
You got to make noise. You got to tell your leader that this is hurting the American economy, that this is hurting jobs in the U.S. Canadians can't pass that message for you.
These kinds of meetings have been going on between East Coast governors and premiers for decades. For this one, they said there was a sense of urgency given the trade war, and they described their discussion today as sobering and eye-opening. Nova Scotia's Premier Tim Houston was realistic about the impact this group can have on Trump's trade policies.
There's just certain things that are outside of our control. We can't control what people tweet in the middle of the night. But there are things that are within our control, and that's where we should work together.
So while the meetings here in Boston were focused on areas of cooperation, the governors and the premiers were saying they're keeping a close eye on the meetings in Canada between Trump and Prime Minister Mark Carney, hoping there will be some kind of resolution. Ontario Premier Doug Ford summarized his hope this way: let's get a deal. Megan Fitzpatrick, CBC News, Boston.
The federal government has unveiled the Canada Strong Pass, offering families free or discounted rates to natural and cultural attractions across the country. But as David Thurton reports, some worry about what more visitors means for fragile ecosystems.
Canada's national parks offer stunning views, but at a cost. Just in time for summer, the federal government is lifting those fees, introducing what the minister calls the Canada Strong Pass.
There's no need to register or get physical pass. Just plan your trip as you normally would, show up and enjoy the free access and discounts at participating locations.
Starting Friday and for the rest of the summer, the federal government is offering free admission to federal historic sites, parks, and marine conservation areas, and a 25% discount on Parks Canada camping fees. National museums are also free to anyone 17 and under.
So get there and explore Canada's national treasures, discover new places, enjoy unforgettable experiences, live your own Canadian adventure.
The announcement comes as travelers opt for staycations.
Absolutely. We decided we'd stay in Canada this year. We won't go to the United States.
It's definitely well-timed with the heightened sense of patriotism that we have right now.
But there are concerns about the influx of tourists and the impact they could have on the fragile ecosystems.
They should probably put like a limiter in terms of like how many people could enter, because people really do love free things.
Visits to some national parks have been increasing. With that comes increased vehicle traffic and wildlife encounters.
Because we've seen so many more people wanting to get out into nature, the park system that we have has been under stress.
But limiting access isn't the answer, according to this advocate.
It's important that, we don't look at that and say, well, we need fewer people in the parks. It's not that we need fewer people going to out into nature. It's that we need more nature for them to go out into.
The government is giving Canadians other opportunities to see the country, like by train. Via Rail is offering free passenger travel for those 17 and under once they're accompanied by a grown-up, and also discounted travel for young people. David Thurton, CBC News, Ottawa.
President Trump's plan to deport thousands of migrants has come under fire, but he remains undeterred. In fact, he's ordered federal agencies to expand the detention and deportation of migrants across the country. Karen Pauls has more.
A weekend of protests across the U.S. Anger over ICE raids targeting undocumented migrants, leading to clashes with law enforcement, including the National Guard. Undeterred, U.S. President Donald Trump posting on social media he has directed ICE agents to do everything in their power to achieve the very important goal of delivering the single largest mass deportation program in history. The goal is at least 3,000 arrests a day, up from about 650 a day during the first 5 months of Trump's second term. To reach that goal, officials must expand efforts to detain and deport illegal aliens in America's largest cities, such as Los Angeles, Chicago, and New York, where millions upon millions of illegal aliens reside. Trump added he wants agents to focus on our crime-ridden and deadly inner cities and those places where sanctuary cities play such a big role. As he headed to Canada for the G7 summit, Trump doubled down, defending his decision.
So the protesters, if we didn't have the National Guard on call and ready, they would rip Los Angeles apart. They come and they check and they say, is the National Guard going to be there? And if the National Guard's being there, they don't even show up.
But at the same time, he's dealing with concerns over the impact these mass deportations are having on key industries that rely on these workers, including agriculture and hospitality.
The disruption and the fear that has been caused by the raids has really had a devastating effect and has been a body blow to our economy. I don't think the president understands that we have entire sectors of our economy that cannot function without immigrant labor.
People that are at work being productive are less of a concern than people that are, running the black market, illicit finance, sex trafficking, human trafficking, drug trafficking operations in the United States.
There are reports that ICE arrests on farms and in restaurants and hotels have been put on pause for now. Karen Pauls, CBC News, Washington.
An Israeli airstrike has hit a state television station in Tehran. It came after Iran fired a barrage of new missiles at Israel overnight. The two countries have exchanged days of rocket fire since Israel's attack on Iranian nuclear sites last Friday. CBC's Margaret Evans has more.
The moment an Israeli attack hit Iran's state broadcaster during a live feed, knocking it off the air, at least temporarily. Earlier, the Israeli military issued evacuation orders telling residents nearby to leave for their own safety, a practice it's used in both Lebanon and Gaza. Iran's leaders denounced it as psychological warfare. But Israel now claims complete aerial control of the skies above Tehran and is making use of it. There have been large traffic jams as panicked residents flee the capital, those who can. Amir Hossein Mousavi works in a Tehran market stall. Where would we go, he asks. Some people might have money, maybe they can leave, but us, I don't think we're going anywhere. More than 220 Iranians have been killed since Israel launched its assault on Friday. Its stated aims to destroy Iran's missile stockpiles and its ability to build a nuclear weapon. On Monday, Israel's Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu told troops the aims are in sight. The Israeli military says it's destroyed a third of Iran's ballistic missile launchers. But in Israel, some Iranian missiles are still finding their way through sophisticated defenses. This apartment building in central Israel suffered a direct hit overnight, turning muddied innards of a family home inside out. 4 people were killed. The blast so strong, 3 nearby tower blocks have been evacuated. Residents allowed back in to collect their belongings today.
A lot of noise of the boom. I was very afraid.
Hagit Avigdori Ma'olem came back for clothes and cat food, still shaken to the core, she says. She supports Benjamin Netanyahu's decision to go to war with Iran.
But we have no choice because they want to destroy us. We have to defend on us.
For now, with more threats of retaliation, both sides seem determined to continue on their direction of travel, no matter the danger of a still escalating war. Margaret Evans, CBC News, Petah Tikva.
How 2 animals are helping keep you and planes safe. More on the unusual safety net after the break. Stay with us. When you think of airport employees that help keep your plane safe, a hawk and an English setter may not come to mind. But those two animals are exactly the type of safety enforcers Winnipeg Richardson International Airport has patrolling the runway. Subina Ahmed has more.
There are two new employees here at the Winnipeg Airport that could be protecting your plane from danger. Meet Huckleberry and Marvel, members of the wildlife control team. Huckleberry's job is to chase geese away from the airfield, preventing them from returning. Marvel's job is to look for cues through Huckleberry's keen sense of smell as they patrol the airfield together.
Hawks and dogs are both predators. For prey animals such as birds, other small mammals, they see these dogs and hawks as predators, and that their presence alone deters them from occupying a space.
Clifford works with Huckleberry and Marvel every day.
The truck sort of acts as a mobile perch for the bird. She flies in and out of the vehicle in pursuit of prey. So often the dog will be searching for animals that are undercover. He'll be running on waterfowl. The bird is really excellent at deterring gulls, which are a significant issue for aviation safety. And sometimes they're working together.
So all this is very cute, but the issue of wildlife colliding with the plane is a serious thing. According to Transport Canada, wildlife and airplane collisions happen across the country. In 2022, which is the most recent data available, 420 collisions occurred in the Prairie and Northern region. The Winnipeg Airport ranks 6th out of 20 airports in Canada in terms of wildlife airstrikes. Dan Franken is an accomplished falconer and owner of Hawkeye Bird and Animal Control.
Some of us are, have been around enough when U.S. Airways Flight 1549, the whole miracle over the Hudson thing happened. But that basically demonstrates very clearly when an airplane gets struck by approximately 20 plus geese on an aircraft, the engines basically fail. There's been examples of things going through the windshield and getting very nasty all the way through.
Franken says there are few ways similar collisions can be prevented.
You get very proficient at understanding, either with radar or historical, of what comes to the airport at what time of year.
After an airport has that information, it can employ measures to mitigate the wildlife that could be a problem during any given season. The mitigation team is making a major difference, according to Clifford.
We are definitely seeing changes in wildlife year over year, so the wildlife management program is very effective.
So the next time your plane takes off or lands safely here, you might have Huckleberry and his hawk friend to thank for it. Zabina Ahmed, CBC News, Winnipeg.
Time now for a check on our weather forecast. Let's check in again with weather specialist Darius Madavi.
Thank you, Brittany, and thank you to Riley for leaving me with a great big folder full of the photos of all of your pups. Thank you for sending those in as well. Special thank you to Blair for sending in this photo of Jigs, who I'd like to introduce you to now. Adorable dog. And tomorrow is a great day to take Jigs out for a walk across much of the southern Manitoba area, really. But in Winnipeg in particular, temperatures reaching up into the mid-20s and a mainly sunny day. One thing to watch out for will be the smoke. I'll talk about that in a second. But in terms of a skycast for tonight and tomorrow, things are calming down and clearing out across southern Manitoba and in Winnipeg after we saw those thunderstorms roll through earlier today. Tomorrow, getting up to about 20 degrees in the morning and reaching up to 24, 25 even by tomorrow afternoon. And again, a mainly sunny day pretty much right from the start. By the time we're getting to 6, 7 a.m., most of that cloud overnight should have cleared out. But again, keep an eye out for that smoke. This is both surface level smoke and that haze up in the upper atmosphere. So keep that in mind. You can see some of these fire perimeters here and where those big fires are letting off a lot of that smoke that is going to be traversing throughout the prairies and then into Ontario and Quebec. If we roll this into tomorrow, we can see our next map, we can see our surface smoke. You can see mostly contained up to this area, But around some of these fires, we may see some local smoke as well. That's what we saw today. If we take a look for tomorrow, you can see a pretty similar situation, but a lot more widespread in terms of that heavier surface smoke, but mostly confined, again, to the more eastern parts of the province, hugging that Ontario border. But still something to note. In terms of our conditions for tonight in the south, temperatures hovering between 10 and 15 degrees with a few more thunderstorms that are just rolling out right now, rolling through. Up in the north, things are a lot more calm, but temperatures up around 10 degrees. In terms of our hour-by-hour forecast for tomorrow, you can see the north getting a little bit more activity, some more showers, rain rolling through up here. Temperatures reaching up close to 20 degrees at times, but we may see some quick drops in those temperatures as that precipitation rolls through as well. Down in the south, temperatures getting close to 20 degrees already in the morning, reaching into the mid-20s by the afternoon. A few spots, again, seeing a few more showers roll through, but for the most part, we're more calm in the south tomorrow. We're seeing mainly sunny skies, and we're going to really see that continue for parts of the week, but more thunderstorms are possible once we get into Wednesday.
Thanks, Darius. Well, it's been a Father's Day tradition for decades, and this year didn't disappoint. Thousands laced up for the annual Manitoba Marathon Sunday morning. It's not just a race, but a chance to raise money for people living with intellectual disabilities. And as CBC's Gavin Axelrod shows us, thousands took part for the very first time.
Thousands were off and running Sunday in various events at the Manitoba Marathon, making their way through Winnipeg neighborhoods on the road to the finish line at Princess Auto Stadium.
Just like pure joy. I mean, I haven't won a race, I think, in like 11 years since high school, so this is pretty freaking cool.
Home course is so nice, have a bunch of family and friends in the stands on the field. And actually my dad's running the full marathon too, even though he's in his 60s.
Running's kind of an individual sport, and I was mostly by myself out there. It's just like, you know, there's all these other people that are digging deep and they're pushing to the best of their abilities, and it just really helps me going out there.
I'm a local athlete in Vancouver, and it's always great to celebrate running with communities around Canada, and yeah, Winnipeg really showed up today.
About half of the more than 12,000 people who signed up for events this year were first-time participants, a point of pride for Executive Director Rachel Munday.
For many, many years in running, we've had a very low attrition rate. We've had many runners coming back year after year. And it's not just about the number of new runners, it's a new demographic, it's a diverse group. There's people from every background.
It was also a marathon for the record books.
This year we have just shy of 1,300 full marathoners, which is the largest full marathon field that we have in our recorded history.
And a special day for those running with family on Father's Day.
He's done this, again, for 40 plus years, a dozen or so marathons, 20 halves, and then 10Ks, 88 years old.
Well, you can see there's tons of excitement and, of course, some exhaustion, too. Now, a lot of people here are already looking to next year. But before that, a well-earned rest is in order. Gavin Axelrod, CBC News, Winnipeg.
It was a tense 10-hour standoff that led to a number of charges for the man at the center of it. It started early Saturday morning. Police responded to a shooting at a home on Grove Street in Point Douglas. It led them to shut down the Disraeli Bridge after the armed man hunkered down beneath it. Negotiators eventually safely brought the man into custody. They say he was on parole at the time of the incident. A group of female firefighters made history recently at the St. John's Fire Department in Newfoundland. For the first time in 130 years, an all-female crew was deployed. Peter Cowan explains.
For the 33 years Gina Burke has fought fires, she's used to being the odd woman out. But with her career coming to an end next year, there was one thing she wanted to accomplish.
We just said, oh my God, wouldn't it be great to get all the girls together? We're starting to get to a point now where we have enough girls that we'd be able to man a station.
For one day, in one station, there wasn't a man in sight. From captain all the way down to the most junior officer, it was all women.
It will be challenging. It's challenging in both aspects, just working with all men.
Burke is used to making firsts happen. She was the first female firefighter the St. John's Fire Department ever hired in 1992. She was the first female captain. But decades later, only 1 in every 10 firefighters are women.
I don't think we needed to prove to each other. I think it was more of a prove to people outside the department, maybe even some people in the department, that that probably don't believe in women being in the male-dominated occupation.
There's still that old school mentality, that boys' club.
And they proved themselves in a busy shift with medical calls and even a house fire. And after decades of blazing a trail, there was pride that came in seeing women excel.
As soon as the girls got off the truck, I knew we were solid. Like, they just outperformed a great percentage of the men in the job. They gave more than I would even ask for, and I just have such a feeling of pride. It's unexplainable.
Gina Burke's only regret that this may not happen again before she retires next year. Peter Cowan, CBC News, St. John's.
Still ahead, Darius Madavi is back with a last check on our forecast and a beautiful sunset. You're watching CBC Winnipeg News. Well, if you're a country music fan, you're in luck. Country star Brad Paisley is coming to Winnipeg as part of the Grey Cup festivities here in November.
Riverbank with all my friends, a big old rope tied to land, and you're a big old wuss if you don't jump in the water.
Paisley will perform at Canada Life Centre on Friday, November 14th, ahead of the Grey Cup game. The performance is part of his Truck Still Works World Tour. Tickets go on sale Friday, and this is a separate ticket required for the concert and isn't included in that 3-day 2025 Grey Cup Festival concert series or Team Social Pass. The Grey Cup game happens November 16th at Princess Auto Stadium.
Well, Brittany, we've got a bit of a mixed week ahead. As you can see, some more sunshine tomorrow, mainly sunny skies, temperatures up around 25 degrees, sticking with that temperature, that high over the next few days. But on Wednesday, we start to see the chance of some thunderstorms rolling through southern Manitoba once again. Thursday, another mainly sunny day, maybe some lower cloud at times, but for the most part, a pleasant day there as well. Once we get into Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, our weekend period, Friday and Sunday, I think at the moment look dry, but they might be trending in a bit more showery direction, so keep that in mind. But for now, I'm keeping it on the bit of the cloudier side, but still dry for now. But again, once we get into the weekend, temperatures up around 26 degrees on Saturday before we drop to 20 on Sunday. Overall, bit of a mixed picture, but it should be a very nice week.
Thank you, Darius. Well, in Spain, a new recruit has joined the local beach rescue squad, and he's making quite a splash. Here's your Daily Lift.
Vamos, aquí, muy bien.
Nilo is a 2-year-old standard poodle, but his breed is more an exception than a standard in lifeguard duties. Canine beach squads in the country usually use Labradors. When a swimmer is in distress, human rescuers are the first to reach the person. Then Nilo or one of his squad mates are brought in to tow them back to safety. The breed name comes from the German word Puden, and it means to splash in the water. I think I would like a little doggy rescue if I was needing some help out there. Have a wonderful night. I will see you back here tomorrow.